I have no idea the last time I slept with the lights off. It's been well over a year, I think. I do nothing in the dark. I don't sleep, eat, nothing. I don't even so much as take a shit in the dark, because that's where they are. The creatures. They're tall, thin, and beautiful things, pale, marble-like skin that was soft and had the smell befitting a god that lingered ever so slightly. I have yet to place that scent. It haunts me. They were cold to the touch, with long, beautiful pastel blonde hair, with eyes as moody as the blue sky. But what was the most beautiful thing was their smile. Their perfectly symmetrical, toothy smile. That horrifically perfect smile. Their teeth are straighter than the military graveyard, and whiter than the snow. The only thing off about that smile was their upper canines were a little bit longer than normal and a little bit sharper than normal. They had the personality of your dream boy or girl and the body of a god or goddess. The girls were curvy with perfectly shaped breasts and nice hips. And the men had perfectly sculpted muscles. They were so gentle when they would pick something up, as if they were scared they were going to break it. But don't let that fool you. They aren't scared. They need you to be scared for them. That's how they stay pretty. They are insatiably vain and they love to stay pretty. They're also incredibly jealous. I had my first encounter of these creatures a few months ago. I was walking to work in the rain. I was having an incredibly terrible night. Working third shift at a morgue isn't really something most people love to do. I was late, and my car wouldn't start, so guess who had to walk 6.5 miles to work? This girl. My hair was soaked, and so was the rest of me. I was about to pull up my phone and call my boss to tell him I couldn't make any work, when an umbrella popped open above my head, scaring the shit out of me. I turned around to see him. This tall, perfect guy. A scent rolled off him like a mist off the mountains, one I've never smelled before. It was heavenly. He had glasses hanging from the bridge of his nose, blonde hair, blue eyes. He was soaking wet, as if he had been walking in the rain with his umbrella, just looking for me. He smiled with a wide, toothy grin, showing off those perfect rows of teeth. At the time, I didn't know why he was smiling at me. But now I know the horrible truth. You look like you're having a bad night, he said softly, his voice like velvet to my ears. Yeah, just a little bit. My car won't start and I'm about 20 minutes late for work, I said with a small laugh. He smiled again, sending shivers down my spine that I had tried to convince myself was from being cold or being in the rain, but I know it was from that smile. My car isn't too far from here, he said, softly gesturing his head across the street to a parked car. I could give you a ride. The car had been there for years, so I didn't think anything of it. He had been there for years, and I hadn't even known, watching me from afar. That would be great. I accepted his offer with a relieved smile. I walked over to his car. He held the door open for me before he closed the umbrella and got in on the driver's side. He pulled out his keys to start the car. Where do you work? He asked softly, just for my phone to ring. I answered. Hello? Yes, this is her. I'm on my... What? Oh. Okay. Alright. Thank you. Bye. I hung up my phone and stared at my hands, devastated. I wish I would have gotten out of the car then and walked into my house and never would have talked to him again. Maybe then I could see my loved ones again. What's wrong? he asked, probably picking up on the look of devastation.
My boss is dead, and I just got fired.
That was the day my life changed forever. I'm so sorry. He looked at me with a genuine look of concern.
It's okay,
I guess. I took a deep breath in, collecting my thoughts for a moment.
I'll probably have to pack up my stuff and move back in with my mom. I choked back tears as I looked at him, feeling dumb. Well, I guess I'll get out of your car. I began to step out of the car, only for him to lightly place his hand on my arm.
Let me at least take you out to get a drink, or something to eat, he said, frowning at the situation, and for some reason, a reason I didn't know at the time, I didn't want to leave his side. My name's James, by the way. I should have introduced myself earlier.
My name's Genevieve,
I said, sitting back down on the seat.
Where do you want to go?
I said, looking up at him. I know this great place down the way. I think you might love it, he said, flashing that perfect smile again. He drove off, and we went, had dinner, and a few drinks. He took me home, and the next day we hung out again. He just showed up, much to my surprise. We hung out a lot after that day. And after a while, we started dating and then started going steady. Everything was perfect until one day I'd asked if we could spend time during the day. I was pretty much a night owl, but I never saw my friends and family at night, and I really wanted to introduce him to my family. His response to my request was pretty shocking. It raised a red flag, but I just brushed it off. I can't go outside during the day, and neither will you. Those beautiful lips curled back like a dog ready to bite. His perfect face turned much darker, and that lovely glow he had was gone, like someone had snuffed out his light. I didn't know what else to say, so I just left it be. Time went on, until one day I couldn't sleep, so I decided to wander our apartment. The sun was shining brightly through the windows, and I had a cup of coffee in my hand, a beverage I drank often. I looked around our home. Where was he? One thing that always struck me as odd was that we never slept in the same room, so I decided to go and see where he had taken claim to sleep for the day. I slowly made my way back to the spare bedroom that I had set up as my work area. Then I slowly creaked open the door, my cup tight in my grasp. My smile quickly faded as I saw this horrific creature in front of me curled up in a ball, like a cat. Its skin was black. It looked like it had pastel blonde hair. My cup hit the floor, which startled the beast awake. Its eyes opened like a flash of lightning. It had blue eyes. When it inhaled, its throat made an awful gurgling sound like it couldn't breathe. It curled its lips back, showing back its perfect rows of teeth with canines unusually long. My heart sank, unable to move. This thing was the person whom I had loved and lived with for so long. I was frozen in place. Fear took over my body. How could this be him? He towered over me. That lovely scent he had before was now replaced with the rancid smell of rotting flesh. Darling? His voice dripped acid as he spoke, in his gargled, demonic tone.
I need your help.
He wrapped his gnarled, bony finger around my upper arm, pulling me closer to him. He stuck out his long, now black, pointed tongue and licked my face. The smell from his breath made my stomach turn, but his tongue on my cheek almost made me faint. I was trembling, shaking and crying like a kid who was lost in the woods.
Please,
I managed.
Please, just let me go. I'll do anything,
I pleaded with him. I heard his skin crackle into a smile. Anything? He asked with a low rumble of a chuckle. I nodded in agreement. He laughed again and dragged me off by my arm. I need you to make me beautiful again. He tied me down to the bed by my wrists and ankles. The rope seemed to cut into my skin. My heart raced as he walked around the bed, sniffing at the air heavily. He looked like whatever scent he had, he was enjoying it. I shivered as his smile cracked across his dead, flesh-drawn face. He walked over to the bedside and bent down with that smile close to my face.
Are you ready to make me pretty again, Genevieve?
He asked again, with a twisted chuckle that erupted from the bowels of his chest. I was too much in shock to answer him. All I could do was lay there and tremble at the creature that I once loved so dearly. He looked down at my abdomen before he slid his blackened hand up my sweater dress. His nails had been twisted into nasty claws.
This is going to hurt a lot, my dear,
he said, keeping his eyes locked on my now exposed belly. He placed his coarse hand on my stomach before plunging his fingers into the soft tissue. I tried to let out a scream, but it was like I couldn't breathe. No noise left my mouth, no matter how much it hurt. His hand twisted inside me, playing with my organs. I felt his hand clench, the pressure growing in my abdomen. Pain coursed through every inch of my body. I shook all over, causing the ropes to tighten. I coughed up a liquid to try and make room for air in my lungs. I looked down at my chest and saw it was blood. I was dying. I looked at him, terrified. He smiled and looked back at me. He knew just how terrified I was. He was feeding off it. He removed his hand from my stomach, pulling out some of my organs in the process. It was getting extremely hard to stay awake. The only thing I could seem to focus on was those teeth. His mouth opened wider as it came closer to me, but soon after, everything faded to black. When I woke up, I didn't know how long I had been asleep or if I was even alive. I looked around the room. There was still blood on the bed and on me, but there were no marks. No hole in my stomach, no protruding organs, nothing. My hands and wrists weren't even tied. It was like the only thing that showed that anything had even happened was the massive amounts of blood around the room. I looked out the window, and it was dark. I forced my legs to support me and walk out of the room into the living room, which was attached to the kitchen and dining room. The front door was just down the hall past the TV and the couch. I could make it. But as soon as I stepped out of the room, he walked out of the kitchen with a smile on his face. He was back to the way I remembered him. Normal. Natural. Look, I'm really sorry for what happened the other day, but I can't be pretty without fear, so I really need you here, he said, setting down a cup that had been in his hands. That familiar terror coursed through my veins again, and I froze in place as I watched him slowly make his way over to me. Well, you're not running away, so you must not mind. He smiled and lightly placed a finger under my chin. That smell I loved was back, but this time I hated it. I just wanted him to go away and leave me alone. I made you breakfast, he said, walking away from me and sitting at the table. He gestured his hand to the other plate of my favorite blueberry pancakes. I was compelled to sit and eat, even though I just wanted to run. I wished I could just turn my body to the door and just haul ass out of it and away from him, but instead I was walking to him like a moth to a flame. I sat down and I ate with him, like there was nothing wrong with the fact that he had just attacked me and ripped me apart. We just sat there. This happened a while ago, and it's almost like a ritual now. Every day, he tortures and mutilates me. Then, after I pass out, I wake up to breakfast waiting for me. I always wake up at night, and that's the only time they can stay beautiful. They feed during the day, so if you ever meet anyone who's just too good to be true, odds are they are, because sometimes demons hide as angels to get closer to you.